Alright, today we're going to look at the ZT HD by Gravely. Comes in various cut sizes, and I purchased the 52 inch. And that is actually the cut size. I was going to purchase the 60 inch. However, my trailer is a little over 60 inches wide, and that means that the deck is much larger than that, and it would not fit on my trailer, and I was not going to purchase a new trailer just for a lawnmower. So I went with 52 inch. It turned out to be better for me. I had need to get in between some trees and some other obstacles in through gates and doors and stuff, so the 52 inch is better suited for more residential. Well, there's several reasons I went with Gravely. Ariens turns out to be a little bit lesser brand. I have some Ariens equipment that I thoroughly enjoy, works great, but when it came to a zero turn, I wanted something a little bit more robust, so went with the Gravely. It's kind of in between residential and professional, I would say. So it's pretty robust. Has a lot of great features for residential, mainly the deck construction, the wheels, the engine availability, simple controls, very comfortable seat. I would say the seat adjusts for anyone between 5'5" and 6'6" or so is a good range for seat adjustment. I always had a lawn tractor or a push mower, so this is my first zero turn, and when I started researching them, the brands are just unbelievable, the variety of mowers and engines. So the 10 gauge welded steel deck is available in 44, 48, 52, and 60 inches. And like I mentioned earlier, that is the actual cut width. That is not the deck size. The deck is about 4 to 6 inches wider than that. This 52 inch comes with 3 blades, and they have the 2 belts, one from the engine to the center and right blade, and then one going to the left blade and the tensioner. So that's pretty nice. So the spindles are aluminum, require little or no maintenance. I haven't really owned it long enough to determine how good they are, but apparently that is a strong spindle design. When you compare other brands, they'll brag about that also, claiming that that type of spindle lasts longer and is more robust. I did have to make one modification right out the gate. I needed these wider, so I put in this spacer block right here, and that was pretty challenging actually. This seat is not easy to disassemble. I also had to purchase some larger bolts to go all the way through here. You stick your Allen screw in through here to undo the bolts, so it's pretty involved to do that. I was quite surprised actually. So, but I still have the flip up capability, and a little bit wider. I wanted my elbows on here, otherwise when I grabbed the handles, it really didn't fit my arm well, so I needed a little bit more width. So it is also rollover protection capable, so if you need to put a roll bar on there, it's going to attach there and probably there. I didn't look into it, but I imagine that's what this is for. I don't really see a towing capability, so if you need to pull a seeder or fertilizer spreader or something like that, you know, you're going to have to rig something up. So cars and zero turn mowers are all about the engine, and some other features that I will be mentioning. This is actually the lesser of the three engines as far as horsepower. This is the Kawasaki FR691V, which is the 23 horsepower. The other Kawasaki engine available, the FR730V, is 24 horsepower, and the Kohler 7000 Pro is also 24 horsepower. And they get that by making the cylinder, you know, a few tenths of an inch larger in diameter. I don't know. This is what they had on the floor. I bought it. So, you know, when it came right down to it, you know, all the engine choices you have, Kohler, Kawasaki, Suzuki sold to Yamaha, so Yamaha is going to be branding that technology in the near future if they haven't done it already. And Briggs Stratton is another one. Honda's pretty hard to find. If you want a Honda motor, you're going to really have to hunt around. So anyway, just this is Kawasaki's new to me. Of course, you know, I've only got 10 hours on this machine and it just runs great, so no complaints so far. It's a V-twin. Air filter is real easy to get to. So there's 10 hours from me. Oil change is interesting. I like it. So just unscrew that silver bolt in there and the oil just drains right out. I think I'm going to rig up some plumbing, some better plumbing, so it comes out at some other location that's more convenient for me. I really feel that to change the oil you really should remove the side panel, which is easy to take off the side pieces, but there's a couple of screws down in the bottom there that are a little bit challenging to get to, so I will you know, either put in a pin, a clip and a pin, or rig up something else to make it easier to take this piece off so I can change the oil. But actually the oil changes are pretty spread apart. The hour recorder is also your maintenance schedule, so you can see I have 10 hours even on here, which means I've cut my yard 14 times in 10 hours of run time, whereas my lawn tractor, 48-inch lawn tractor, it took me about 2 hours to do the yard from the time I said I'm going to cut the grass till I was back in the house. And this one takes me about 45 minutes. Now, you're going to hear other people say it cuts down time, and that is very true. As a matter of fact, I thought I looked at the clock incorrectly when I first started cutting the yard in 45 minutes instead of 2 hours. It was that drastic. So looking at the hour clock, you see I have 10 hours. If you press it, it will tell you the oil, when to change the oil. So I have 14 more hours before an oil change. And then it goes to the hydraulic oil. So it tells me I have 64 more hours to a hydraulic oil change. And then it goes to air filter. Tells me when to change the air filter in hours. And being a residential machine, I'll probably change it, you know, every other season or even every season. So anyway, we'll just see how that goes. Alright, so the controls are pretty straightforward. You have a brake, which you need up to start and to get on and off the machine with. You press it down to release it. You have your throttle, fast, idle. Have your choke, which I don't even need most of the time. It starts right up. I don't even have to choke it. Here's your on-off key. I just leave it in. I don't have this feature, whatever goes there. And then of course your electric clutch for your to start your blades. Fuel capacity is 5 gallons, so you don't have to worry about that. And I use about not even a gallon to cut the yard, so it's maybe a gallon an hour consumption. Seeing as how I use less than a gallon in 45 minutes, so it's pretty efficient on gas consumption. So very happy with it. The battery is a very small battery. It is a U1. It's group U1, if you know about battery groups. So it's just a pretty small sealed battery. What you want to notice about the electricals is they're pretty much standard terminals, meaning that you really do not want to spray this machine down with high pressure washer. It's kind of like early 90s vehicles. You know, if you pressure wash the engine, all kinds of gremlins creep in there because the water gets into the connections. So it's not recommended that you pressure wash the mower. However, if you just blow it off with a leaf blower, I found that to be sufficient. It pretty much takes care of everything. The way it's designed, the grass really doesn't get caught up anywhere. You can see how the deck is open right in here. The grass that gets on the deck just blows right out. And that is one of the main things I noticed about this mower. This is probably a general statement about these zero-turn mowers, but the cut quality is absolutely phenomenal. Unbelievably nice cut quality. The blades are just positioned correctly. The deck stays firmly in place. It's just really nice in that respect. So cut height is from 1.5 to 5 inches, and you can see I'm at 4. 4 is really nice for me anyway. So I really do like that 4-inch height. I like the way the discharge chute is designed to come up and out of the way when you need it up and out of the way, either in storage or if you're doing something where you need to lift it up. Okay, the one thing that was tough for me was steering. It was pretty easy to learn how to maneuver the mower. However, it was instinctively backwards for me. I've ridden a motorcycle pretty much since I've been 15 years old, and I am years old now. So riding a motorcycle is when you go make a left turn, you like push away. That's how you make a left and a right. Well, with the mower, it's the opposite. Now, I've never driven a tank. Maybe it's set up like a tank. I don't know. So instead of pushing to go left, you pull to go left. And that is not instinctive for me. However, I can back this thing up like crazy without, I can back up like nothing, because it just from all that motorcycle experience. So that was a bit tricky for me, and it still is. I still mess up from time to time, especially going at high speeds. When I have this thing at full blast, wide open, going straight, and I begin to slow down to start making a left turn, that's kind of when I notice that I push it in the wrong direction a little bit and then correct immediately. Which brings me to the other feature, and that is the gearbox. So when you're buying a zero-turn mower, it's the deck, the wheels, and mainly the engine and gearbox. The engine and gearbox are of equal concern. That is really where you want to pay attention. If you're looking for high quality, if you just need a little thing to run around a little half-acre yard or whatever, and you go down to Lowe's and buy something, that's fine, great. Don't worry about it. It'll last you your 10, 15 years if you're lucky, and you just go on with life. If you need something a little more robust like this, then you really want to pay attention to the gearbox and engine and deck construction. So to set the deck height, you put the deck in the up position. Just locks in like that. That frees your pin. and then you can move it about. Set your pan in place, and then you have to release the deck height lock to let it drop down to your set height. So there's all kinds of cool features, like that's a limiter bolt. You can actually adjust the speed. You can increase or decrease the maximum speed that the mower will go. So it has a lot of nice little touches to it that are convenient that you don't normally get. I mean, all of the deck hardware and mounting equipment and is all really nice, heavy duty, good quality stuff. That's the other thing you're paying for. It's really where all the costs come in. So when you go down to Lowe's or Home Depot or something and buy one off the curb there, you know, that's what you're getting. They built it to a price point, and so they built it to a price point, so you just use lesser materials. I mean, that's not to say they're bad. I'm sure they'll last you a good long time. I would say at least 10 seasons at a minimum you should get out of one of those mowers. So this is more of a home life commitment, you know. If you're not moving for a while, you know, if you've settled down and this is your home, then and you live on a couple acres or so, I would say you would be looking at one of these machines for sure. Definitely like the tires. There's one thing about the tires: if you're going too fast and turn too sharp, they will dig in and rut a little bit, so you need to be careful there. Need to learn your machine. Also, the discharge is extremely powerful. You can turn even with the flap down, because that's how you run it 99% of the time. The discharge is so powerful that if you turn right, you will actually turn into your debris field. Just, you know, all the grass trimmings that are kicked up, you'll just turn right into it. And with my lawn tractor, I only ran into it if I went through dirt. So with this guy, you learn to turn left. Yeah, you turn left often, else you run right into the grass that you just cut. So you want to be careful of that. Also, I'm making this video, I see that the wheels are offset a little bit. It's not down the center line. I don't know what that's for, but it's really nice to run this thing on a hill. Either going straight up the hill or going diagonally off at an angle. Between the aggressive tires in the back and the way it's just the weight of it, it just really hangs on to the sides of hills. I don't know what kind of banking they're rated for. I can look in the manual, I guess, but for my property, I don't have any issues whatsoever. So there you have a little review. I'm real happy. Nothing's gone wrong. I mean, usually if something goes wrong, it goes wrong right out the gate, right? So I've got 10 hours on the machine. No complaints. Still learning about the finessing of maneuvering, but all in all, it's a really excellent machine. I'm very happy that I went with Gravely. I looked at many of them, many mowers, you know. Like I said, the brands and the engine varieties are just mind-boggling. You know, sometimes you just go out there and buy something. You know, it's almost better to be ignorant and just go down and buy something than it is to do all your homework and research and try and figure it all out. Anyway, there's my machine.